So, I was working on a video recently that was gonna go over some bad weapon bonuses in Destiny, and that video will probably come out eventually, but while I was working on it, one of the perks I was looking at was Eye of the Storm and how it's supposed to improve your accuracy. Let me ask you this, do you know what accuracy is? Because I know what it is, you might know what it is, but chances are most people probably don't, and that's because accuracy, to this day, has never actually been explained in-game in any way. The reason is because it, along with aim assist and target acquisition, which are kind of the same thing, are all linked together in the range stat. Here's what accuracy is pulled from the Crucible Radio podcast from October 2015. Accuracy is essentially an imaginary cone that emits from your gun. The farther the distance, the wider the cone. Accuracy is split into two parts, initial and final. Initial accuracy is from the first shot fired out of a gun. Usually this is a very tight cone. Then, as you fire your weapon, the cone widens out until you stop firing, in which it then starts to tighten back up. Each weapon has its own cone reset, aka the time it takes for the accuracy cone to reset back to initial. Here's the problem. Accuracy is mainly for hip firing your gun, and I don't know about you guys, but it's not often that I'm hip firing my gun. So basically, accuracy is what it is in almost every other shooter. Accuracy also applies to aim down sights in Destiny, but it's not as penalized nearly as much because it would be really stupid for you to aim down sight and have anything other than your aim affect your aim. If your shot is dead on but the accuracy stat determines that it's not, well, that's pretty stupid. It'll only affect those super far shots, ones that are probably pretty unreasonable to hit. So, in a way, I understand why accuracy is not shown as a stat. First of all, it just ends up taking up more real estate on the screen, and Bungie had said before that they don't want to bog down players with stats. But it also feels kind of worthless because there aren't many ways to actually notice accuracy working from a non-hipfire perspective unless you're using a weapon that is specifically for hip firing. The only gun I can think of that you would want to hip fire is the last word, but you can't alter the bonuses on the last word. So I went to go test Eye of the Storm to see what kind of accuracy bonus a player would be getting when they are low health, expecting my crosshairs to basically be touching when I'm on the brink of death. So, shooting away, and, well, it kind of looked like something happened. Let's take a look. No. Nope. Nothing. Literally nothing changed. Now one might think that accuracy would be those crosshairs, and to an extent, it is. After much more rigorous testing, I can say that Eye of the Storm does appear to actually work. But the problem is that to even someone like me, who did some initial tests, at first and second glance, it looked like this perk literally did nothing because there's nothing that says to the player that it is actually doing anything at all besides the buff timer, especially with regards to aim down sights. It might as well just say, Eye of the Storm. Nothing happens. What are some other bonuses out there that deal with accuracy? Hot Swap is one, so let's take a look at that. Hot Swap gives you bonus accuracy for 5 seconds when you switch to that weapon. It's meant to be a way to just be able to lay into someone who might be rushing you. Let's swap to the weapon, and yeah, nothing. No visual representation at all besides the timer ticking down that says I have bonus accuracy. There's nothing on the screen that actually says to the player what is happening. How about the hip fire bonus itself? Here's a fusion rifle without hip fire. Now here's the same fusion rifle with hip fire. Do you see any difference? The answer is no, you don't, because there is no difference. I get that the fusion rifle probably has some weird hip fire accuracy crosshair stuff going on because it's kind of a unique crosshair, but this is the most basic of the hip fire bonuses, and to the typical player, this says, this does nothing. I do nothing at all. How about persistence? Any representation there? Actually, yes, there is, and of the 4 bonuses in this video, this is the only bonus with any actual representation in the game. As we shoot our Doctrine, the crosshairs widen, then tighten up the longer we fire. This is good. This is the bonus actually showing us that it is working and it is doing something. Compare this to a different auto rifle. It's not a bullet hose, but we can see that the crosshairs on this Zaranea do not close back up when firing. They stay spread. So at least persistence appears to work. Naturally, the first thing you'd probably suggest is just have the crosshairs shrink when an accuracy bonus is active, and you would be right in making that suggestion. That's probably the clearest way to portray this information to the player. That, or highlight the crosshairs, give them a little glow to say that shots are more accurate, have the glow be brighter to lower your health for something like Eye of the Storm. Something, anything, to actually signal to the player, hey, this is how this bonus is affecting your gunplay. I understand that Bungie wants people to just play with guns that feel good to them, but there are plenty of people who like to know those deeper stats. I'm not exactly yelling at Bungie to say, hey, put these stats in the game so we can actually see them, although I wouldn't complain if they had an advanced tab on armor and weapons, but, you know, meet us halfway here. Not to mention the inconsistency. Persistence has a visual, but Hot Swap, Hipfire, and Eye of the Storm all don't. So, there's a simplified version of accuracy. The problems with the accuracy bonuses are that besides the buff timer, they never actually signal to the player what they are doing and how they are doing it. Another problem, although it's not really a problem since that's what the stat is that accuracy just really isn't that important of a stat unless you have so much of it that you never need to aim down sights ever again. And spoilers, not really possible to have that kind of accuracy. The base amount of accuracy on pretty much any weapon is gonna be enough to get you by, and there is rarely a time where you actually want to invest in accuracy. Not only all of that, but the range stat is even more brutal when you're hip firing, causing you to lose a lot of potential damage while you hip fire. Look at me shoot this gate. I do double the damage when I'm aiming down sight. Now that's a rather extreme example, but you get what I'm saying. One thing not mentioned in this video is how accuracy in the air might affect your shots, but the main purpose of this video was to highlight the lack of feedback given to the player with regards to accuracy bonuses. There is plenty I still have not explored with regards to accuracy, specifically its potential PvP applications, so you're not going to get any sort of comment from me there. But if you were to ask me if you should bother with accuracy for any sort of PvE purposes, my answer is going to be no. That's going to do it for me, guys, on the topic of accuracy and its visual representation in Destiny. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.